What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago, on a beautiful Sunnyside summer Thursday. The summer weather's back, Dave.
Ooh.
Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases with that promo code HICHGO at checkout. Excluding supplies, Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, only for 21 and over, or Illinois Med card holders.
Yes.
I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports, and the unenviable task of replacing Joey Spath is on day one. For now, always glad to see him. Our guy, the one and only Kevin Wells on the controls. What's up, Kev?
I got some big shoes to fill.
You do.
Big shoes to fill. Hey, I'm going to do my best. I'll see you guys next few weeks.
We appreciate it. You're already doing better than Will. Will's not even Will's not even in a seat yet. Will, we're starting the show, man.
Dude.
Come
Why
on.
you doing it like this? Come on. Have a seat.
So unprofessional.
Coiffed. Always got to be coiffed and ready.
Here he comes.
There
Here
we
he comes.
go.
Oh, wait. What? Wait.
All right.
Did Goat grow 2 feet? Oh, it's the other Will.
Oh, it's the other Will.
It's Uncle Will Perdue,
Hey,
3-time
Uncle
Bulls
Will.
NBA champion.
Hey.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Uncle Will.
Hey, we're all celebrating the fact that the Sox swept the series the first time since April.
Well, look at that. That was the big announcement that we were teasing on our show today. The White Sox winning multiple games in a row.
History!
That's right. History. Well, Mr. Perdue, why don't you tell the fine people out there in Bulls Nation why you're sitting in that chair right now?
Because I've decided, after much debate, late night discussions with my wife,
Shout out.
knowing that she's going to have to work a lot more hours now, that I came crawling and begging. And actually, I'll be very transparent. Called Mr. Peck personally
Flex.
and asked him to go to bat for me and see if I could actually fulfill a childhood dream and come work for CHGO.
Wow. You look great for your age if that was a childhood dream.
Amazing. All right.
Yes.
I
And,
got my DeLorean outside.
oh,
so-
yeah, there you go.
Oh, well done.
And I said, are you kidding, Uncle Will? Will I go to bat for you because you want to come work with us? Duh. So, great news, Bulls Nation. All the great insights and analysis that you've come to expect from this Bulls legend, 3-time Bulls
But
champion.
there is some. It's about making sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
The goat's looking for a job. No, I'm just kidding. There's only enough. There's only enough room for one Will on this set.
Oh, talk him. And we took the one with 4 rings.
Oh,
That's
man. No, parentheses, Coach is taking a couple days off today and tomorrow before the chaos of the season begins with Media Day on Monday. So we're going to have 2 Wills around here. Will Perdue is going to be joining Big Dave and I in studio for a number of pre- and post-game shows this season. Oftentimes a lot of home games while Go is doing his thing at the United Center to give us the analysis, the insights, and share that still very deep connection he has to this team that we all love so much. And could not be more thrilled to have you on board, buddy.
Very excited.
Could not be more
Well,
thrilled.
I'm looking forward to it. And I think probably the best way to put it is what's going to happen between now and the end of the season is unknown
Mm-hmm.
because, as it's been explained to me,
Mm-hmm.
there is considerable creative freedom allowed here.
A little bit.
So I think we're going to come up with some good ideas between now and the end of the season.
That sounds wonderful.
Mm.
I was saying this to Matt yesterday because it hit me that ever since you met us, you've done shows with us.
Yes.
like every show we've kind of been on, including our own personal ones, Will has been on, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, it really clicked in my head. Will Perdue actually likes
He
us.
actually likes hanging and chatting
likes
hoops
hanging
with
out
us.
and having chats with us. Will.
Remember our short-lived,
amazing.
bastardized version of Outsiders
That's
after
what
NBC?
that's what I'm talking
the
about,
Bulls
man.
Outcasts?
Outcast.
On that hot mic launch app that never really fully launched?
He was there.
Purdue came and hung out with us on that platform
He
for
was
crying
there,
out loud.
dog. Like seriously,
Well,
every platform.
And I'm going to be very honest here. This is how to take this full circle, okay? When you guys first came on at NBC Sports Chicago, wasn't a big fan. And listen, this is about growth and maturation. It had nothing to do with you guys. I didn't even know you guys.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
But it was the fact that I was constantly, hammering for a longer contract, the ability to do more games, them constantly telling me that, things are just tight. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got this new show coming on. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Of course, the fat contract.
What are you paying these idiots? Because you should be paying me.
But
it wasn't much, Will.
We made Will's gas money. Straight up.
Hey, gas is expensive, man.
This is my point, Will. This is my point.
But
we were living on your gas, sir.
But the point was, it was one of those things that, and credit to my wife, she said, listen, if those guys are going to be around, you might as well give them a chance and get to know them. Because you never know what you might learn. And I just remember after the conversation, I was like, yeah, I'll give them a chance. What am I going to learn from these yahoos?
A very fair retort to that suggestion.
But I can honestly say I've learned quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
But I also am probably more proud of the relationship that we've developed, because I think that's shown some growth in myself. But also, you don't listen. There are some things that I can talk about that you guys just can't.
Correct.
And that just comes from experience, from actually playing the game.
Yes, sir.
But what you guys have shown me is that you don't necessarily have to play the game to have and I don't mean just an opinion, but what I think is an educated opinion, because of the knowledge that you have for the game and the time that you invest. And I mean, hell, you guys even go to Summer League. I don't go to Summer League.
Yeah.
And I know that
around here we call that die hard.
But I think some people would be like, well, who wouldn't want to go to Vegas?
I mean, in the middle of July, I go because it's Summer League, but there are a million places I'd rather be in the middle of July than Vegas.
But my point is, it's not like you guys are rolling into Vegas, with the wad and just stepping up to the table.
No.
Well, define wad.
Yeah.
Gas money wad? Or?
Gas, right. Exactly.
I mean, Joey came back from Vegas financially devastated because of the craps tables.
I came back straight. I was good to go. Baby.
Did you guys go there for the work aspect?
Oh, without a doubt. And look forward to it, actually.
Because you guys invest the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we know that there are plenty of Bulls fans out there, most of whom tune into our shows, who are like, yeah, no, I want to hear how Modest Buzelis did in his first Summer League game. Yeah. They're that attached and invested to the team, even when we are in the depths of the offseason. And a lot of people who are casual NBA fans, which is also fine to be, would not even bother to say, hey, what's the word coming out of Summer League? But we do.
But to kind of take it and finish it up, as I've gotten older, and I actually feel like I've become more relaxed.
That's good.
Again, my wife has a lot to do with it, but
credit to her.
I've had to kind of open my eyes and understand what this business is coming to, right? And I think these are, in this case, CHGO Bulls is one of the many platforms that's continuing to expand, that's becoming more and more popular. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie, TV money's a lot better than this money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course it is.
At the end of the day.
For how long? Who knows?
When we first started talking, and then you guys and your bosses started talking about flexibility, talking about creativity, talking about pretty much the base, anything to do almost anything you want if they feel like it's something that the consumer would like, or in this case, CHGO fans would find interesting. I believe and I hope that by coming on board with you guys, to me, it's a win-win situation, but also the fans will appreciate it. And maybe this is something that will continue to grow. Listen, it's going to be a rocky 2 years. I didn't know the proper adjective to use, but
hey, Will, you're with CHGO now. You can use whatever adjectives you want, man.
Take your time, Will. Just spit it out, sir.
This is some bullshit.
There you go. Here we go.
Let's go.
Oh, baby. Oh, he ain't even been here 20 minutes.
I love it.
He always dropping them, baby. I love this so much.
But I think that the one thing that we're going to have to do is to We're going to talk about it today. You know, you had Billy and AK on The Score earlier this week, and just I think we're going to have to adjust our expectations.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends what your expectations were.
Correct.
After the offseason moves versus coming into what we see in the first handful of preseason games and beyond.
It's one of those things where I think, you know, my friends that know me have said that, you know, if you're going to continue to do this, you're going to have to change your expectations because of what the Bulls are attempting to do now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've always said that there are certain organizations, and I'll continue to say this, the Miami Heat, the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers, Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting caught because I was like, do I throw the Knicks in there?
No.
But currently, why Thibodeau's there, I think you can throw the Knicks in there.
Okay.
But that's more about their past.
Yeah.
That there are certain organizations that, from a quality standpoint and from a direction standpoint and a culture standpoint, you have to hold to different standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we need to be referencing the playoffs. I don't think we need to talk about the postseason. I think what we have to really focus on is this situation is, are we seeing growth game to game? What is it that we're seeing? Who's doing what? You know, what's the offense look like? Are they having any success on defense? Are there trades being made? Because unless something drastic changes, this is the last we've heard of AK for a while.
Yeah, that's usually, how it goes, right?
He'll speak on Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Media day, we'll obviously hear from him.
Yep.
But
you're hanging out with us Media Day, right, Will?
Yes.
Hey-oh!
Let's go, baby.
Well, yeah, then he maybe talks at the deadline mid-season.
Right.
And then like the season-ending, exit interview kind of thing, and that's usually it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, I started looking at this as people are going to start asking, okay, where do I want to get my information from? And I think that as, CHGO continues to grow, the quality of the programming continues to expand and get better. I basically thought to myself, would I like to be on this show? The answer was yes.
Thank you.
You think that they would find this to be enjoyable, and I've always felt like there's been enough positive responses on the chat side.
Yeah.
When I've been able to come on here as a guest, that I think overall, it would not only be enjoyable for me, and not that I didn't look forward to coming to work with NBC Sports Chicago,
yeah,
but
it was a great place to work.
There were certain limitations that I had to deal
Sure.
with. That
I'm familiar.
We was there.
Walked in every day being like, I wonder if I'm about to get pulled into some office until I've been fired.
Dave,
Guys.
did you ever wonder if Matt was the reason why they ended that show?
No, I know he was the reason.
Hey, I will say, while we were on hiatus in like April of 2020 when everyone went away for COVID, I did get a call.
Okay.
From some higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't even doing shows. The league was on pause, but I had written a column because I was writing weekly columns, and they didn't like something I wrote in the column. And it wasn't even about the current state of the horrible Bulls. It was like a jokey column about the 90s Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't care for it.
The 90s
yeah, and then they were like, and we've been looking at some of your tweets recently. And I was like,
well, you don't want to do that.
I'm sorry, do you own my Twitter account?
Right, exactly. You don't want to do that there.
So maybe it had something to do with it.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with
it. But, they had to cut us so they could keep paying you, Will. Isn't that the theory?
Well, guess who's sitting here with you?
Oh, big money baller. Well, then let us pay some bills, then, Will. Let's pay some bills so you can get you a check.
Let's pay some bills, and then we'll be back with our guy, Will Perdue, newest member of the fam. We got to talk T-Rose retirement, and as he said, we want to get Will's thoughts on those AK and Billy interview answers from the other day. That's next.
Bulls fans, beginning October 1st, the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox have a brand new home, the Chicago Sports Network. CHSN will broadcast more than 300 live games per year across the Hawks, Bulls, and White Sox, and will feature a full lineup of original Chicago-focused sports content. They are Chicago-based, Chicago-built, and Chicago to the bone. And they're bringing it to every corner of Chicago across our 77 neighborhoods and beyond. At CHSN, Chicago comes first. Visit chsn.com for more info on how to watch the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Sox games all season long. And after you watch those games, make sure you tune in here for the post game here on CHGO Bulls.
Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Between work, social media, the stress of an NBA season right around the corner, and all the different life choices life throws our way, it's no wonder you can get a little more worked up sometimes. Coors Light celebrates rising above all that noise and stress and choosing a chill mindset. Why not turn a rained-out barbecue into a karaoke house party? Maybe hosted at Will Perdue's house. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Or after a tough loss, not the Sox today, settle scores with a nice cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill, then reach for a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment. And when the mountains turn blue on that can or bottle, you know the beer inside is as cold as the Rockies and ready for consumption. It's cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged, which gives Coors Light that smoother finish. Make the most of the times you choose chill and choose Coors Light. You can get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And real quick, we got a lot of people in the chat kind of tuning in.
Sure. Yes, sir.
And asking questions. Are you replacing Joey? No. You will be on the shows.
I'll do whatever they ask me to do.
Yeah.
we did think that was another bit that we were considering and tossing around yesterday when we were having, a drink with Joey at Third Rail, actually, after our show. It was like, what if we put Will Perdue in the producer chair, like made him put on like a headset, like took a picture or a quick video of him looking super concerned, like, great news, guys, we found Joey's replacement. How much production work have you done in your time, Will?
Then I think at the same time, you could show me looking through my contract going, hold on a second. Obviously didn't read this one.
Nope, not replacing Joey, not replacing Goat, just joining the team. Brag.
Hold on. I want to share something.
Sure.
Please.
To tell you the relationship that we have built over the years. I don't think we've discussed this yet because it happened after the last time I was here.
Okay.
A particular member of this set today
okay.
reached out and said, hey, man, can you help me score some points?
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, God, really?
Come on, Will. No, you already throwing it out there. Finish it out.
I just started listening 5 seconds ago. I was working on something else.
I'll let Matt tell the story.
No, we want to hear from you, Will.
I wasn't gonna rat him out, but he ratted himself out.
You started it. You might as well finish it, Will. Just come on with it. I want to hear this. Let's go.
Should I read the text?
Yeah, come on with it. Do what you want to do. You have creative freedom on this show to do your thing. Hey, Julia, Will Perdue is dropping tea over here, baby. Oh, you know how Will likes to do.
Hold on a second.
I quite enjoy this, man. Will Perdue going through his text because Matt has hit him up and asked him for something. I'm very excited to find out what happened.
Do the viewers know her name?
No.
Okay, so I'll just leave that out.
Redacted.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if you're in town this weekend / have plans, but blank and I are going to her nephew's birthday party at D'Agostino's in Lakeview this Sunday, the 22nd, 3 p.m. It's a Bulls basketball themed party, so a swing by from Uncle Will would be very received and earn me mega points with her family.
True story.
Flex.
So no pressures, no worries if you can't make it. Unfortunately, I already had plans, but what did I tell you when we talked on the phone?
I mean, your response was, great idea. Unfortunately, out of town. Don't hesitate to ask in the future if it's something I could do to help out.
Oh, man.
Uncle Will.
Does that go for everyone, though, Will? Because I also have your phone number and send those messages also. Does this go for me too?
Absolutely.
Okay, just checking. Got to make sure. All right.
It's because it was a legit Bulls basketball themed party for her nephew, and I was
but the whole thing was, I know you think I'm giving you a hard time.
Well, you are, but okay,
a little bit.
But I think that's just. I have no issues with the question. I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to ask me.
That part.
I mean, I felt bad about the fact I was in Atlanta last weekend, so I wasn't even in town.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said to him when we had a conversation,
so what do we say?
Because we were talking about different things, specifically about some of the content for the show.
Yes,
I just said, hey, if there's another free weekend sometime, especially as the weather changes and you have more free time on your hand, and I'm not on the golf course, and we can meet for a pizza. You can bring some of the youngsters, and we can chat.
That's true.
Especially if it will help my man.
I appreciate
Score
that,
points.
man. And I won't even dare think of putting Chardonnay on that pizza because I know that's not your jam.
Please
What
don't
the
do
heck
that.
is this?
Not a fan. He's not a fan.
But also, I think I would probably prefer to spend time with his significant other.
You just want more dirt, don't you? Like that's it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that Derrick Rose retired this morning already?
So much
For the love of
news.
God.
So much news and stuff happening over here, man.
Brian the guy said, Matt's already regretting this. Of course
It's
not.
when he
I
gets
love when
around,
Uncle Will's around, and I can roll with the punches when he gives me a hard time.
that's going to be a heck of a day when he finally gets around her, man.
But I
when he
think
gets around redacted, that's going to be a day.
is that her new name?
That's her name, redacted.
Around here, her
That's
name is redacted.
man. Get around
But
redacted.
I think that
that's gonna be
also,
something.
listen, this is what I've learned in being in this business a long time. This is what makes your fans endearing to you guys is when you're willing to drop that curtain and let them in. Let them know that you guys are just like, I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah. Me, Dave, Will Perdue, we're just like everyday people.
Yeah,
out there.
man.
We
So,
all-
you know,
we
I feel
all-
like there's a bit of a
4
difference.
rings at home that he actually won.
Listen, we all have the same problems.
Mm-hmm.
Ran out of polish for your rings. Yeah, yeah.
Gas is
Gas
expensive.
is expensive. How much is milk?
Oh, my goodness.
That's not cheap either.
We all
Well, yeah,
we all 3-putt.
Right.
You
oh yeah, gotta
At
give
least
it on
I
the
don't
golf
know.
course.
Will might be a good golfer. I'm not sure, but
What's your handicap, Will, on the golf course?
Actually, here, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, we're ready.
This is my index. Okay, this is the CDGA app. What does that say?
Handicap is 7.9.
wow.
So that's my index.
That's
Wow.
impressive.
So
Okay,
on
maybe
most-
you don't 3-putt.
Most courses, oh yes, I do. Most courses at 7.9 is probably going to be about a 10 handicap. My goal in my life has been to get down to a single-digit handicap, not a single-digit index. This is the lowest my index has ever been.
Okay.
So
Putting in the work.
Yes, you are. You're doing your
I
thing.
have been. Now, that work has kind of been and this is probably one of the reasons why I've gotten better is now we have a new puppy at home, so I can't get to the golf course as much.
Mhm.
And I've actually, since we've had the puppy, started playing better
Wow.
because my personality is that of a grinder.
This is true.
So if I'm playing on Friday, I'll probably show up on Wednesday and Thursday and not play, but spend a couple hours out on the range.
Okay.
And I probably take it way too seriously, but that's
You're competitive.
Perhaps the competitiveness that got you to the NBA.
but that's kind of how I replaced the competitive nature of playing basketball. I've probably lost, but I don't play for big money. But
Yeah.
it's just in the Michael Jordan terms, having to give somebody my money so they can carry it around in their pocket.
I mean, one of my favorite lines for the entire 10 hours of The Last Dance doc is when you told that story. Well, I want to be able to say I got your money in my pocket.
That's right.
Looked and it came in every word, man.
Remember when that dude who's heavily featured in The Last Dance is just sitting on our
Yeah,
set
yeah,
because
just,
he's joining our crew?
Just
Remember how that was the thing that
how
happened?
that happened right there?
We need some cheer up. Joey's gone. We're sad about that.
Yes.
Derrick Rose retired today.
Yes.
People are in their feels
Yeah,
in Bulls
man.
Nation.
They're in their fields. Will.
We're here to provide some levity.
We are
some
happy you are here.
Some happiness.
Very
on
happy
that
you're here.
that same tune, real quick before we get to the Derrick Rose talk, we got
Yeah.
a super chat from Braggs.
Okay.
Who's Will Purdue's favorite teammate, Michael Jordan or Greg Baggs Jr. at CHGO Sports?
Who? Speaking of
No, I didn't hear
Jordan-sized egos,
I didn't
Braggs
hear the-
needs to chime into this.
I didn't hear the question. What was the question? Michael Jordan and
Who is your favorite teammate, Michael Jordan or Greg Braggs Jr. at CHGO Sports?
So Greg Braggs Jr. is somebody who works on our CHGO
That
Bears
guy-
crew.
That guy straight
Oh, is
ahead.
he
in
sitting
the-
behind his monitor
glass.
right here?
I know who he is.
Oh,
I just
okay.
didn't hear the. You guys were laughing so much, I didn't hear the name.
No, the who was funnier.
I know that's how it came across,
yeah.
but I will answer that question.
Sure.
I actually have two.
Okay.
One with Chicago, one with San Antonio.
Okay.
Number one with Chicago would be E.J. Armstrong.
Nice.
who calls me periodically and says he's sitting out on his patio and it's 62 degrees and lovely in the middle of January.
Shout out.
What does he live in? Southern California? Or?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Good for him. SoCal is trash.
I call him a wuss because he left the Midwest.
That's right. That's how we Chicagoans feel about that nonsense.
You see your fingers fall off.
For San Antonio was Malik Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Malik Rose,
Nice.
man. That was a nice player, man. I like Malik Rose a lot. Absolutely.
And to tell a further story about my growth as an individual, that year that we went into the lockout.
The 98-99 season?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at the numbers, I think it was game 7 of the season, I got hurt. Got a high ankle sprain. And I was playing very well. It was a contract year. Playing very well, playing significant minutes, was ready to go, had a great season the year before. Even though we lost to Utah, played very well. Pop was very complimentary, was jacked about, this. I'd stayed in shape. Our team obviously had stayed in shape because we were winning the championship. But it was Malik Rose who actually took my minutes. And, there's an unwritten rule in the league that you don't lose minutes because of injury. When you're ready to come back, you get a chance to play.
Right.
But this was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. Greg Popovich, I had checked off all the boxes, crossed all the barriers. Athletic trainer, the strength coach, everybody said, all right, he's finally ready. Pop pulled me into his office and said, listen, I know about, you're ready to go. I know what you were doing prior to you got hurt, but I'm going to have to ask you to take a step back. We're going to activate you, but you're probably not really going to play much because of the chemistry we have going right now, the rotation that we have right now. There's just not a spot for you. That being said, when we play certain teams, I'm going to need you to be ready to play, most notably the Lakers and Shaq and other teams that had, bigs. But Malik at, 6'6",
right,
was playing very, very well. And I just remember I was kind of devastated that night when I went home, but I also was reminded that, this is a guy that I've been very fortunate to spend a lot of time with. And, he kind of was looking up to me. He'd come from Charlotte. We developed our relationship because when he first came to San Antonio, he didn't have a car. He was staying at the hotel. I would pick him up on the way to practice, drop him off on the way home. We would have dinners together, the whole thing. So we kind of got to know each other pretty well. And I was probably like, if it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have been so accepting. But because it was Malik and the relationship that we had and how many years that I'd been in the league compared to how many years he hadn't been in the league.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like, this is more than just what we're looking at here. This is kind of a, I'll get my chance.
Yeah.
But fortunately enough, because of the relationship I had with Pop of being open and honest and transparent, I think I felt comfortable that Pop knew my worth. But I also understood, because now I had been fortunate enough prior to that to win 3 championships, that sometimes there's some things that you can't control.
Yeah.
That you just kind of have to accept, whether you like it or not. But in the bigger picture, it's the right thing to do because it's what you need to do for the team.
Right.
And it says a lot that the dude who took your spot when you got injured is your favorite teammate looking back on that team.
That is dope.
That's dope. We got to take
I
one
just
more.
get him to return my calls now.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Oh, wow. Throwing shade. We got to take one more quick
he
break.
calls me back, but, he's working for the league now. He's big
Yeah,
time.
there you go. They're probably busy. We have another special treat / announcement for y'all today on the other side of this break. We're just giving y'all present after present today because we all need that collective cheering up.
Yes, we do.
So stick around right after this.
Ray!
Oh, Ray.
Ray CDJR, y'all. Before you hit the road this fall, head to Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram and start your adventure right there. This September, shop new lower prices across their huge inventory during the Jeep Adventure Days going on right now. For a limited time, lease a new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for only $239 a month for 27 months. Or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. That is what Will pays for gas. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey with
Help
Ray's
me
Price
help
Promise.
you.
The numbers you're hearing right now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever.
Hey.
Since they prioritize affordability, their customers hurry into Ray CDJR and shop one of Chicago's land's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your hip pockets than you'd expect. If you're in the market, ladies and gentlemen, for a brand new vehicle, you've got to check out Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram because they are the only team that we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963. Shout out Norm Van Leer.
Hey,
Since
oh,
we're talking about new cars. Do you
intensity.
still drive the same vehicle?
I sure do.
You might want to give Ray a call.
hey.
Ray, who you think's coming in?
Funnily enough, we're going to chat with our pal Ray real soon.
Mhm.
Today's show also brought to you by FOCO. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around. They've got hoodies, they've got shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in betwixt. Going to a basketball or a hockey game? Because guess what? Blackhawks hockey's already back. Bulls basketball about to be back. Show off your love of your team. Branded friendship bracelets, whether it's jackets, beachwear, even overalls. That's right. Team branded overalls, if you want to pull off that look. There's something for fans for almost every occasion. Shout out to them also for donating some of our very cool Chicago sports themed set decorations and set pieces all around our office, including right behind us. Foco's donated a few of these cool pieces to us. Go show them some love like they showed us some love. Also, they'll show you some love in the form of a 10% discount. Check out FOCO.com, that's FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. All non-presale items with promo code CHGO10, that's CHGO10, will get you 10% off your order.
We got some cool stuff, man.
Speaking of awesome, cool
Got
merch,
Cool stuff, baby.
surprise number 2,
Number 2.
Derrick Rose has officially retired from the NBA, y'all, and Bulls fans are in their fields today. Already available in that All-City merch locker for pre-sale. Our newest item, the CHGO Rose Forever collection, available in both hoodie and t-shirt. Get yours pre-sale ordered right now.
That hoodie is that's a buy.
Balls.
I'm getting that.
Shout out
Yeah.
to our guy Eric over there at DMVR and everybody on our graphics design team. And you know, the closer you look into this, the more little what do you call them?
Details.
Yes, Easter eggs you
Easter
will
egg, yeah.
find.
Peeling back the layers.
There's a little 25 in that bottom right hand
Little
corner.
bit, you know,
a little Simeon shout out right there.
Chicago
Little silhouette.
stuff.
Little L action going on. Oh man. So, Mr. Perdue, what did you make of this news today? Obviously, with the Grizzlies waiving him the other day, people were wondering, is he going to come back to Chicago, retirement tour, maybe even just like sign a 10-day to retire with Chicago Bull? He drops on his own personal social media accounts last night, sort of this teaser video, and then the official announcement that came earlier today, very early this morning. Derrick Rose hanging it up after a 15-year NBA career. What's your first reaction?
Good for him.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we've seen it. Quite honestly, he can still play.
Yeah.
And still contribute. I would love to see him come back to Chicago and finish out his career here, but I just don't think that's in the best interest of him or the Chicago fans. And I know that's like an oxymoron because I just said, hey, I'd love to see him finish his career in Chicago. But I think what you have a tendency to do as a fan, when you think of Derrick Rose, who do you think of? The MVP. So I'm just glad, because I was very fortunate, to get to know Derrick over the years. I'm just glad he was able to go out his way.
Yeah.
I think that he's always had his way, but he's had such a hard time, voicing what that is. Because, whether fans want to believe it or not, I think he wanted so badly to bring a championship to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he couldn't do that, not because of something he didn't do, it's because he got hurt. And that's something he can't control. That I think that honestly, that haunts him a little bit. Because, even he talks about just that was always his dream to play for the Chicago Bulls. And he was able to, because of the work he put in and, everything and the luck of the draw, you know, what was it, 4% chance?
That was like
1.8.
Yeah.
Correct.
In the lottery. Yeah.
That he was actually able to come and play for Chicago and then in that short time period do what he did. But yet I feel like he constantly, I don't want to say battled the demons, but I think that frustration and disappointment of not being able to do that during his time frame because of, you know, what happened to his body.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hope that he's now been able to, is at peace with that and has been able to put it behind him. And everything that I've been told and I know says that he is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, because you talked about how you got to know him over the years. Like, what was that like, getting to know Derrick Rose, the kind of person he was? Because we just, outside looking in, knew him more, you know, very reserved, and a guy who kind of found himself just as he continued to grow, you know, in the league, as far as like verbally expressing himself. When I say found himself,
probably the one thing that used to jump out at me every time I would talk to him was how humble he was. It kind of gave you that sense that he really didn't know who he was, and not who he was the person, but who he was as the, you know, what's the best word to use, is just
best player on the team.
Not even about a basketball player,
Okay.
just what he meant to this city.
Yeah.
And the fans, you know, because he never had that aura about him or that attitude, or like if you didn't know who Derrick Rose was and you ran into him walking down the street or, you know, at a party or something like that, and somebody was like, hey man, that guy's MVP. You're like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't act like it. He doesn't talk like it,
Right.
you know, but because we know who he is and we've been able to watch him play, we're like, oh, hell yeah, he's the MVP.
And I think, you know, people have been sharing all kinds of old D Rose clips from back in the day, you know, jaw-dropping highlights, but then just like other things. I saw that, I think it was his third All-Star appearance when they're introducing the starting lineup for each, you know, the East squad, the West squad. And you got Dwight Howard and LeBron coming up and like dancing and doing all this stuff. And Derrick Rose just very casually, calmly just walks up there, kind of looks at them like, yeah, these guys are
Yeah.
I'm chilling. I'm good.
So
Give a wave to the crowd when they say my name. And it's like, but he always behind that was like a silent killer. I think that's why Chicago's like sports fans and Bulls fans loved him.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, this dude doesn't need to talk trash, doesn't feel the need to talk trash. And whether it's teammates, people who covered him, always said, humblest kid.
Yeah.
And he just goes out there and just kills you on the court.
Yeah.
I saw a video today where he talked about how when he first came into the league, his first 3 years, that he tried to model himself after Kobe, not only on the floor, but off the floor. He talked about how he didn't go out, he didn't drink, he didn't party. The reason why, because he goes, I know Kobe is somewhere working on his game right now. So I'm going to be always working on my game, always putting myself in a position to succeed, eliminating distractions. You know, just as he said, he couldn't get enough of who Kobe Bryant the person was and Kobe Bryant the player was. And he even talked about how, who did Kobe work out with? No one, because he didn't want anybody to know his moves, right? And he talked about how I used to work out by myself and I didn't want people to know my moves. And, you know, listen, I know he caught a lot of heat that year that he's like, well, I'm not going to help recruit anybody to come to Chicago. I honestly feel like he didn't understand the ramifications of what he was saying. But what he was saying is that's not my job.
Yeah. And he also, along with saying not my job, was adamant in saying, like, these are my guys. I'm going to, you know, shout out Keith Bogans. He was like, I don't need LeBron or Wade or Bosh. Like, me and Keith Bogans can beat y'all.
Yeah. And that just
he wasn't right, but
Yeah.
to feel that way as far as, like, how he felt about his teammates, knowing that he was the one who's the reason, by and large, that they were the top seed in the East for 2 consecutive seasons. Like, and he was like, I'm riding with this crew. Like, this is my crew.
But the interesting thing is, you never publicly heard him say, this team ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Never.
When he, behind closed doors, he's like, yeah, this ain't happening. But the only way it's going to happen is if I get better.
Yeah.
Because that guy's only so good, and he's only going to be so good.
Yeah.
So that means that I got to ramp up what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And yet he never talked about it. He never, I always talk about, and I learned there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance.
Come on.
I never felt that he even broached arrogance ever. And I just always, how kind he was, not only to me, but just strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just almost to the point where how he was uncomfortable and who he had become, as far as, a superstar. There was no doubt he was a superstar, not just an all-star.
Like a global superstar.
Yes, correct.
Derrick Rose is still getting all-star votes that you see like in the initial return of the polling, like, in the top 10 for whichever team, whichever conference he's been on, because the D Rose love is across the entire globe.
Now here's a question, because I'll learn this as we go. What time are we going till today?
5 o'clock. We're at 4:42.
Right. So the question is, does his number deserve to be retired?
That's what everybody's been talking about on Bulls Twitter today. And I think vast majority of Bulls fans believe yes.
Yeah.
There are some who say, well, he had 3 great seasons and then kind of fizzled out. Is that worthy of having your jersey retired? The immediate counter to that is everything else that he meant and continues to mean to the city of Chicago and Bulls fans everywhere. Because, my phone's been exploding with people like hitting me up about like, oh, hey, Derrick Rose retired today. Like, how you feel about it? This, that, what. The engagement we get on our various social media posts that are Bulls related, that are Derrick Rose related, compared to the average engagement of our non-Derrick Rose posts is outrageous.
It's ridiculous. And
people
thank you.
Still feel that way about Derrick Rose.
And here's always been my answer to it. His number is already retired.
Right.
Because the Bulls player even thinks about putting that number on. The backlash that comes immediately.
Remember when Michael Carter Williams tried that?
Do I remember it?
I'm sorry.
Backlash, bro.
No, sir.
No, you will not put that jersey on. It's already been told to them that you can't put this jersey on. They have already retired it without the ceremony.
Didn't Io say that too? Didn't Io say, I would never even think about wearing that number?
Never.
He said something along those lines when he got drafted.
I think listen, my opinion has changed.
Okay.
Because when this first became a pretty hot topic, one of the things I did was I was like, wait a minute, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, absolutely, because you can only imagine the numbers and what he would have meant to the to this team and what he would have accomplished. But then, as you just talked about, because of the injury, you're like, well, he just hasn't put up Hall of Fame numbers. So my answer was no. But as I've thought about it, and today he's officially retired, I think that they should retire his jersey, and not so much for what he did on the floor, but for what he meant to the city.
Correct.
How that era, because I remember going to the games and being like, man, this is what it was like when I played. This is this was, again, the Bulls were once again must-watch TV.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what? And when you preface something by saying no disrespect, everybody's like, oh, man, you're dishing that man. I'm not doing that. But I decided, I was like, didn't the Miami Heat retire Udonis Haslem?
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it had nothing. I mean, I think he was their all-time leading rebounder.
Yeah, but still.
But it's what he meant to that.
That's what he meant to the city.
20 years in one team.
Yeah.
It's what he meant to that organization.
He was there Luol Deng. He just never left.
Yeah.
Right.
And then was like player/coach, age 42.
Yeah.
Still there.
And just super respected in that city as well.
But I think that he probably is this, it's debatable. But to me, from just what I've experienced over all these years of covering the Bulls, he probably is the second most popular player to ever wear a Bulls jersey.
Behind MJ.
Correct.
You think he's ahead of,
popularity?
Ahead of Scotty.
He's right.
I would say popularity-wise,
yes.
He's right.
Yes.
He's right. And even guys because then, again, retirement of a jersey is a team thing. So even guys like Tony Allen, who's about to get his jersey retired by Memphis. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, yes. Because when I think of Memphis and what he meant to that, it makes all the sense in the world to me.
Because basically he was what the terminology that Memphis used.
Correct. That grind. You know what I'm saying?
He was the
grind father. That's what they call him. The grind father. So if in that sense, it makes sense. Again, this is not a league award. It is a team award. It's about what you meant to it, man. And nobody, as you just stated, was more popular or meant more to the Chicago Bulls and just the city and globally than Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan. That was it. Those are the two. And so you have to give him that love because he's earned that, man. And he's been that since Simeon.
Well, I just think.
In the city, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even now, when was the last time you wore a Bulls jersey?
My Scottie Pippen when I went golfing. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking
That's a
about
flex,
when was Derrick Rose in a jersey?
His last season was 15-16. He got traded in the offseason before 16-17 to the
And
Knicks.
if we were to go to a game this year, how many Derrick Rose jerseys do you think we would still see at the
Oh,
games?
a third of the stadium.
Yeah. You should have been in here earlier. When the Cubs did their show, they all had on Derrick Rose stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point.
Yes.
It's just, to me, why you should retire his jersey is because what he meant to this city.
Correct.
To the individuals, to the organization, about how it became must-watch basketball again.
And I think one of those short list athletes who had the power and like adoration to like unify the city. And like I remember I was, a young adult living in Chicago in those days of those playoff series, whether it be the Boston Battle in 09 when he, drops 36 and 11 in his rookie debut in the NBA playoffs, or the battles with the Heatles. Like this city, when the Bulls were like maybe kind of flirting with that level of good and contending and maybe championship contending for the first time since your era, Will, this city goes nuts for a Bulls team like that. And because Derrick Rose, Chicago's native son from Inglewood, star at Simeon, was the guy who was taking them there, it didn't matter what neighborhood in Chicago you were from or lived from. I mean, Big Dave and I are people who are diehard Chicago sports fans, could not be from more different backgrounds. I grew up in the west suburbs. He grew up east side here in the city. But when you were in that building cheering on Derrick Rose, we were all just Chicago sports fans.
Yeah, the unification is a great point because nothing else mattered. And he made cold-ass nights so much better in Chicago because you knew you were going to get to watch Derrick Rose. Like, I just remember certain moments with my friends just go. I remember the Dragic dunk and where I was. It was cold as hell. Like I remember being at my friend's apartment and watching it and losing our minds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And going crazy because I couldn't believe what I had just seen. Like Derrick Rose gave us that and that feeling. I remember game 1 of the playoffs against Boston when he went crazy. I think he had 35 that game. Like those are core memories, you know what I'm saying, for me, watching a guy like Derrick Rose, because it's truly the last time you had real hope in your heart that the Bulls were going to be that team. And Derrick Rose allows you to have that. And all the stuff you talked about, this is my team, you know what I mean? I'm not going out, recruiting for nobody. That's Jordan-esque stuff, And that's what endeared you to him because, again, him being from the city, those things are who we kind of are here. You know what I'm saying? And it embodies that. So when he's out there saying those things, and you talked about the humility and his ability to just be an everyman, like that is just really Chicago stuff, you know what I'm saying, to us. And so that's why we just understood it and we felt it and we know that he's ours. We shared him with the world, obviously. You share him with the world, but he was always ours, man. And yeah, he was just amazing, bro. It was so many glorious nights because of Derrick Rose.
So, everybody in the comments is talking about it. You posed the question yourself, Will. Of the people around here who know the Reinsdorf family well and how they operate, I feel like you are our inside source. What do you think? Do you think they're going to retire his number? No, knowing what you know about the Reinsdorf family, how they operate as owners and people who honor. They did the Ring of Honor thing starting last season and honored a number of people from the old days and then the even older days, like pre-dynasty. Do you think that his jersey is going to be up there?
I think eventually it will, yeah.
Okay. I think so. I agree. I don't see how you don't have that up there.
Yeah.
In the rafters.
I don't know why maybe they would drag their feet on it. I mean, like Bulls fans, I think for the most part, by and large, if you ask straw poll Bulls fans, 100 Bulls fans, should they retire his jersey? 90% would say yes / it already should have been retired.
Yeah.
Do it today.
Seriously, man.
90%.
Mm-hmm. When I think about just that, number one, I think about how, well, because the Blackhawks logo is no longer on the floor. It's up now.
Yeah.
But when it was on the floor, how nobody stepped on it.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't walk on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how it was. That's how it is when I think about that Derrick Rose number.
Yeah.
And that jersey, you're just not allowed, you know what I'm saying, to have it or to wear it. It doesn't belong to you anymore. And, I mean, people will go insane if that's the case, man. Like, any other player, you know what I'm saying, you might be like, okay, outside of like Jordan and outside of Pippen, again, you see who I'm mentioning.
Yep.
Any other player outside of that, you'll be like, oh, I don't like that. Yeah, and you might get a couple people, Matt, talking about, I can't remember who wore the 13, the one who got carried off the floor.
Tony Bradley.
Yeah, man. I was about that. He shouldn't even have had that
my
jersey
brain
on.
for the rest of the time.
Shouldn't he have that jersey on? But Derrick Rose having it on, everybody comes and floods. Like, what are you doing? You take that off right now, man. So, yeah,
So
man, they got to retire it.
So you guys obviously saw the official statement by Jerry and Michael.
We did, yes.
There's a few things in here that tell me that they will. So this comes from Jerry.
Okay.
As both a player and a person, Derrick represents the grit, resilience, and heart of this city. He's one of the toughest and most determined athletes I've ever been around, constantly fighting through adversity that would have broken most. So that right there tells you what he represents as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So that, to me, if Jerry says that, it's not so much about, hey, we're retiring number one. It's about we're retiring Derrick Rose's jersey because of what he meant and how he fought through adversity.
Yeah.
And then this right here, every time Derrick stepped on the court, it felt like we had a chance to win, and his MVP season remains one of the proudest moments in this franchise's storied history.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is the case, that pretty much tells me that at some point they will. And this is Michael's statement. I won't read the whole thing. It is he was a once-in-a-generation talent who took the league by storm, becoming Rookie of the Year and the youngest MVP in NBA history. Blah, blah, blah. His legacy in Chicago is undeniable. He brought this franchise back into contention, won an MVP, and most importantly, inspired a city that will forever claim him as its own.
Yeah. It's true. That's very
powerful words. And I think they were mentioning it on the Cubs show that Kev was producing just a minute ago. January 4th, Knicks, Tibbs in town to play the Bulls.
Correct.
Perhaps that's the night where maybe they don't make an announcement about retirement of a jersey, but inviting Derrick that night, maybe tell Will Perdue's fellow Bulls ambassador Joakim Noah, hey, you should probably make sure you're in town this weekend.
Matt was going to find a way.
Listen to this from Thibodeau. He just put out a really nice statement about him. He said Derrick had a Hall of Fame career. So
there you go. Well, I mean,
speaking
of people who have always been in D Rose's corner, I mean, Joakim and Tibbs have been his riders. Really, from day one.
Dog, seriously, like the man was the photographer at Joakim Noah's.
Tibbs was like, yeah, I can use him with the Knicks.
Yeah,
like, and that's the other thing about Derrick that I think maybe some of the Bulls fans who turn on him for the injury and not playing or whatever, or just kind of stop paying attention because he wasn't wearing a Bulls jersey anymore. What he was eventually able to do with his NBA second life, yeah, there were some rocky stretches in there. His short stint with the Cavs that went horribly. And, the season he spent with the initial season he spent with the Knicks immediately after the trade. And he went AWOL for a while because he was missing home and dealing with some mental health issues. His journey is crazy. Yeah. But then 18-19, 19-20, and then 20-21 between Minnesota, Detroit, and then back to New York. 3 consecutive seasons he finished in the top 10 voting for Sixth Man of the Year. That's not being the MVP of the league again, but talk about reinventing yourself through sheer grit.
Yeah, man. And
determination.
Especially when we were worried just about him as a person, about his needs. Yes. You know what I mean? Just him mentally. We were concerned about what he would be and how it would affect him going forward. For him to and Will, you know this, but the mental strength it takes to do what he did, to get back on the floor and get back to some level of a really good NBA player.
Because he could have easily just said, I'm done.
Correct.
Hey,
and nobody wouldn't have said anything.
He made enough money, his shoe contract, the whole thing. I mean, he didn't need to play. but it's what the game meant to him. He wanted to get back to play.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
And that's when you talk about the impact of Rose, obviously Bulls fans and Chicagoans and what he's meant to this city is a huge one. But I think I retweeted it from Bobby Marks, ESPN's NBA money expert.
Mm-hmm.
His thoughts about Rose's retirement was remembering the Rose rule. He not only made an impact on the court, but financially for players that signed a rookie max. To date, 10 players, including Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, last year benefited financially from the Rose rule.
Wow.
Those two players earned an extra $40 million when they were named All-NBA and got their rookie extensions.
Wow. It's amazing stuff.
Derrick Rose put money in other people's pockets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was that good, that young.
I just really love this from Tibbs, too. The second paragraph of his thing, the true measure of a man is how well he handles adversity. Nobody did it better through it all, from the pressure of playing in his home city to being the youngest MVP. Through injuries in 3 consecutive seasons, he stood tall, never relented, always came back. Like you guys just said. I mean, that.
Yeah, he was, everywhere Tibbs went, he was there. Like remember the Minnesota game when he dropped that 50?
Man.
And just the interview after that. And just how expressive he was, letting people in. I worked my ass off, bro. Like, just letting people know. And you felt every part of that. Man. Sitting him, watching him say those things, like you felt it in your core, seeing that, man. Like, y'all know I hate the Knicks. I can't stand the Knicks. They can burn in hell.
No.
But Derrick Rose playing for the Knicks, I was just like, I hope Derrick Rose does well. Like, every single time, I'll be like, I hope what you thought I was going to say? I was rooting for him? No.
No, but you went the extra mile there.
Yeah, I did. And that's as far as I'm going to go, is that mile. But I'm going to root for Derrick Rose. I remember.
Can you go any farther than hell?
The Knicks are going to find out before I do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I love Derrick Rose, man. And it's just he embodied the city and just his character and how he acts. And the person that he is, the love for his family that he has, man. Like, that's something that, like the people I'm around and that I know, that's the thing we have in us, and it means most to them. Like, you see the love for his mother. That MVP speech, man, when he started talking about his mom, come on, man. Come on, dog.
I was a crying mess watching it.
Man, dog. Like, it was.
I got to call my mom and tell her.
Just the strength of that young man, dog. You just wanted the best for Derrick Rose, man. And yeah, we're gonna miss him, but definitely gonna celebrate him, man. And I can't wait until he gets back to the UC. That's gonna be a really amazing night, honestly.
Yeah, tickets for that one.
Oh my goodness. Will, you get us tickets? Okay, I'm not putting you on the spot.
I may not be here that night.
Will only know us when he's on camera. He don't know us outside of the studio.
Yeah,
That's not true. We go to eat almost every time we get together.
That's true. You did toss me your keys and say, park this.
That is, you know what? That's bullshit. I did not say park this.
So we can't.
My exact words were, don't scratch this.
And yes, of course there was. There is the dark side of how certain portions of Bulls fandom turned on Derrick, and we all know what happened there. And if you were someone who we all know who we are and which side of that we were on. I don't know about you, Dave. I was one of the last people in this city defending him, saying, "Hey, he's hurt. If he's hurt, he's hurt.
If he's hurt, he's hurt, bro."
But yeah, that was tough. And then for him to be traded at the tail end of all of that,
yeah,
and you could see in his documentary how much it hurt him to be traded away.
On camera, we saw this, man.
Seeing the things that make you cry.
Wow.
My goodness.
That was something.
For his career to make a comeback, to come full circle, and however it is that they end up honoring. And, look, credit to the Bulls social media team. They did a great job with that video that they cut and put up earlier today.
Yes.
The D Rose love is going to be pouring for weeks. I feel like it's going to be pouring out of the United Center all season long, acknowledging his retirement.
And I hope so, man. And I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I'm excited to see it. Game 1, I think it's just going to be a flood of Derrick Rose jerseys in those stands, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be.
Reminder, if you want to rep that man's gear, check out the newest stuff we got at our ALLCITY Network merch store. The newly released pre-sale available now on that website, CHGO Rose Forever, available in both hoodie and T-shirt.
Clean.
Get yourself one. Get on that pre-order list because those things are going to sell like hotcakes. I'm putting my pre-order in right now. We are sadly out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, give a like and a thank you and a round of applause to the newest member of our CHGO Bulls fam, the one and only Will Perdue.
Way!
Being here with us in studio. Look at that. Look at that.
He's coming back.
Going to be joining us throughout the season, many a time for pre and post game. Oftentimes when GOAT is at the UC doing his beat reporter gig that he does so well. Will Perdue, the other will be hanging out here in studio with me and Big Dave. You are also going to be hanging out with us at Bulls Media Day this coming Monday.
Yes, I am.
You'll be there, baby.
Purdue joined the Cool Kids Club, y'all.
This is so
Can you
awesome.
believe it?
Emphasis on kids.
Yeah, that's right. Follow him on Twitter, Will_Perdue32. Big Days at BAW, BAWL Sports. I am Bulls_Pack.
You guys
Shout
gonna
out
gang up on me and
appreciation.
steal my lunch money?
Never will. Never will. You're 7 feet tall. I ain't
Have you seen how big you are? I'm terrified of you.
Game of numbers, though, man. You know?
Shout out producer and pal on the controls today, Kevin Wells. Kev, great to see you as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah, boys, this
Appreciate
was fun,
the
man.
impromptu add-ins to the great D Rose chat there.
He's awesome.
We are back with a fresh episode tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time to lead you into the weekend. Have a great Thursday night. Will Perdue, he's here. It's a real thing.
It's a thing.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you, Red Big Good Bulls Nation.
Rose.
Long live D Rose.
We all silly like the mayor.